Welcome to Buy It on Birch Street, the show that highlights the best of hospitality e-procurement for innovation, automation, and solutions, helping save you and your customers valuable money and time. Today's sponsor is our accounts payable three-way auto match solution, empowering you to reduce costs and improve accuracy by automating invoice processing with cutting-edge budgeting capabilities. Automatically compare receipts based on customized matching rules, allowing your staff to focus on fewer exceptions. For more information, visit BirchStreetSystems.com and click on the Solutions tab. I'm your host, Gareth Fraser, and our guest today is Chief Commercial Officer Paul Rantilla. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thanks, Gareth.
It's great to have you back, Paul. It was 26 episodes ago where you and our Senior Vice President of Solutions Consulting, Kim Huff, were our guests, and we were talking about AP three-way auto match, which just happens to be our sponsor of today's show. But it's wonderful to have you back with us. Thanks for taking the time.
Well, it's great to be back. Thanks, Gareth.
Let's begin by you sharing your professional background in hospitality software, Paul, and what brought you to BirchStreet Systems.
You know, it's 28 years now that I've worked in hospitality technology. Started in my early 20s. Had a lot of really great opportunities, ranging from a company called Newmarket back in the 90s, and then with Passkey, which got acquired and is now part of Cvent. And then I was back at what was Newmarket. It was then Amadeus after an acquisition. I've been at BirchStreet now for about 3.5 years. I am committed to hospitality technology at this point.
Speaking of commitment to hospitality technology, it was, of course, Serent Capital that invested in BirchStreet Systems a few years back, and then more recently, Parthenon Capital's investment in BirchStreet Systems. In our 20th year, how do you feel, Paul, that level of investment has reinvigorated the company?
Yeah, it's been actually 4+ years with Serent. So they invested in BirchStreet just before I originally joined. But then we had another recapitalization in 2021 with Parthenon coming in. It's really an exciting time. It's a time for BirchStreet to invest in areas that maybe in the past needed more investment. So I'm super excited. We're looking at everything we do, from sales and marketing to how we deliver, to how we develop products, how we support, how we serve our customers. And we just see opportunities across the board on continuing to relentlessly improve and offer our customers the best possible P2P solution in the marketplace for hospitality.
Well, the hospitality world just converged on Orlando for the 50th HITEC event. Perhaps you could share with the listeners, Paul, your background at the HITEC convention.
We just concluded BirchStreet's first time at HITEC in 4 years. It was my first time being at HITEC with BirchStreet, but my 25th time. So I've been to half of those 50. I had 24 in a row and then took 3 years off, partially due to COVID. What a great week we had with our team in Orlando. We invested significantly in a large booth. We sent a large team, and it was super productive. We had about 40 meetings pre-booked with both prospects and customers. And then we had tremendous walk-up. We had booked a little bit late, and I was concerned about our booth's position on the show floor, but it turned out to be incredibly valuable, both in continuing conversations with our customers and how we can better serve them, but also a lot of opportunities for new accounts to join the BirchStreet family.
Right, and in that vein, you could see even on LinkedIn during HITEC the many comments that came in about how highly trafficked our booth was. And this was from competitors, customers, prospects, friends, and those you've worked with in the past. It was, for some in our team at booth 2515, a year where they weren't even able to walk the show floor simply because of the volume of traffic at the BirchStreet booth. And it's well known, Paul, that you've led in the assembly of a team that is perhaps unlike any other that participated in HITEC this year, that is familiar with you, is well known, is respected in the P2P space, and contributed to there being a great buzz about BirchStreet. Why did you have to attend this year? Why was it so important? And what sort of team did you take with you?
Yeah, I think it goes back to my earlier comment about the new investment in the company and the culture of investing to grow and to improve our company and our offering. And certainly we thought HITEC was a great opportunity to showcase that. As you mentioned, we're coming up here on our 20-year anniversary. It's a new company at this point in terms of how we go to market. I'm very proud of the team that we have, the commercial organization. 9 of the folks on our team have worked with me in the past at Amadeus or other companies. And it's a team that's very seasoned, professional, and they understand the value of investing in trade shows, in particular where you're able to have booked meetings prior to, so you ensure that you're going to get a return on the investment and that it's time well spent. And and I'll even add that typically with the HITEC show, Thursday is a very quiet day. Typically the Tuesday and Wednesday times on the show floor are really booked and exciting, and then Thursday is somewhat dead. And this case, that didn't hold to be true. We actually had a very productive Thursday too, not just with some set meetings, but we had good walk-up traffic. So all in all, I was actually quite surprised with how worthwhile the investment was.
And speaking of investment, it was also well known across the show floor that BirchStreet had brought along key leaders into the booth, not just for one day or a few hours, but for the entire convention. And that was an anomaly at this event. That wasn't the case in every booth. And that generated even more of a buzz to see this key leadership of BirchStreet Systems in the 20th anniversary at the booth, down in the trenches, representing the brand as we scale up to greater heights. Why did you feel it was important to bring this level of leadership into HITEC this year?
Yeah, I think it speaks more to who these leaders are. We have a new executive team. In fact, I'm the only one left from the original executive team. We have a new CEO, and we have a new chief technology officer. We have a new CFO. We have a new general manager of payments. And these are all leaders that are really committed to being customer facing and wanting to be on the road and hearing from customers and hearing from prospects, which speaks to our culture. And, I do see other booths that don't have that executive presence, and I think it's a real opportunity for executives to be able to hear directly from the market, and then vice versa, to see, for our customers to see the commitment from our executives to their success as well. I'm really happy to be surrounded by folks who are like-minded and they're thinking about customer engagement. And it also shows your employees too that what they're doing is noticed and perceived to be valuable. For our sales and marketing team to have the executive support there just shows how critical investments like HITEC are for the company.
And continuing on that theme of investment, we see there is a lot more marketing and sales collateral out there in the space. There's a lot of attention being brought to BirchStreet Systems in this 20th anniversary year. We've rebranded. And with that said, what of our P2P platform solutions did you feel gathered the most attention this year at HITEC?
Boy, we have a lot of new stuff. And I would say that what is most exciting to people in general right now would probably be the AP process, including digital invoicing and our new payments product. Because of the labor crunch in hospitality, the operators and owners are looking for efficiency wherever they can find it. And being able to move away from the paper legacy way of managing invoices and having to touch every one of them. And for that matter, payments as well, paper checks versus, say, newer digital forms of payment that are much more efficient and potentially even revenue generating with things like virtual card rebates. I'd say that's probably the hottest, but there's a lot of interest too just in our general platform and us overhauling the user interface to make it easier for people who are onboarding new employees. A lot of the folks in hospitality are new to hospitality after the pandemic, so there's extra pressure on us to make our system even simpler and easier to use. So we're excited about the new UI, and we're going to continue to make it better. And then just a lot of our modules that were ready for a new version based on customer feedback, such as our new capital projects 2.0 or our new inventory 2.0 that has the AccuBar beverage partial bottle scanning integrated into it. A lot of new modules, versions coming out, new UI, and then again, just the excitement around digital invoicing and payments, I would say, were the highlights for the audience at HITEC.
And speaking of the audience at HITEC, we know HospitalityNet was the media sponsor. They interviewed you before HITEC, and that article got a lot of traction. And then they came to the booth and interviewed you in person and on camera. Could you share with our listeners today what questions they were asking you?
Yeah, they were asking about trends and what we're seeing in hospitality, and just to highlight that, Gareth, what they're really looking for is where are owners investing in technology, and what are operating companies recommending given the labor shortage. And that's where I think we see companies being very selective and not trying to push too many initiatives down to the properties, because for a lot of them, they're not able to operate under normal conditions due to the shortage of labor. So, I was asked kind of what we're seeing in it. And what I responded with was, we definitely see technology initiatives being very active, but they have to have a strong ROI and they have to address the need for efficiencies with the current labor shortage.
Speaking of efficiencies, our booth was so widely trafficked that we were swept away by the request for one of our Birch merch items, which was the Titleist Pro V1 for our listeners who are non-golfers. P stands for professional, V for veneer, and the numeral 1 for the first of its kind. We had many golfers, those related to golfers, those wanting to golf, those dreaming of golf, who came by the booth and wanted a Pro V1 ball, with, of course, the BirchStreet Systems logo on it. We were cleaned out. By the end of HITEC, there were none left. But Paul, on a personal level, it's well known that you enjoy the game of golf. And as we pivot to the end of this interview, share with our listeners why you enjoy golf so much and what it's taught you in life.
Yeah, Pro V1's a good brand to be associated with. For those who know golf, it's an expensive premium ball, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to have it for a giveaway for those who appreciate golf or know somebody that does. It certainly is a coveted giveaway, and we want to associate our brand with the best. I do enjoy the game on multiple levels. I do like to compete, but probably more so than that. It's a great way to spend some time and enjoy the company of people, whether they're your customers or your good friends or your family members. It's just a great way to connect with people, disconnect from technology, and just enjoy nature and go for a couple hours walk while having a lot of fun and laughs while you try to compete with one another, smacking around a little white ball that can be incredibly frustrating. But in terms of what I get from golf, it certainly teaches you a lot about someone's character and how people handle adversity. And, probably for me, one of the biggest things is about patience. Golf doesn't treat you well if you're impatient. And that can be one of my challenges personally, is to remain patient at times. And golf teaches you that. You need to slow down a little bit. And when you didn't make mistakes or you have challenges, you also need to put them behind you and remain patient with yourself, patient with your teammates, patient with potentially your competition. It's a game that rewards level-headedness, patience, and perseverance, which certainly in the software world, all of those qualities can be extremely valuable in the face of adversity.
You've been listening to Chief Commercial Officer Paul Rantilla share his reflections from HITEC after 25 years of experience at this year's 50th HITEC event in Orlando, along with the successful participation of the BirchStreet Systems team and the buzz about BirchStreet that surrounded their booth and the excitement around the investment in the company, the scaling up of the company, the rebranding of the company. The future looks bright for hospitality technology and also for BirchStreet Systems. If you'd like to reach out to Paul, connect with him on LinkedIn or send us an email at sales@birchstreet.net. Thank you so much, Paul, for taking the time out for talking to us today.
Gareth, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's great to talk to you.
You can continue the conversation as a listener by visiting us at BirchStreetSystems.com to learn more about us, our suppliers, resources, customers, and services. That's BirchStreetSystems.com, all new, all branded, just for you, and be sure to click on the green Let's Talk tab. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time, right here on Buy It on Birch Street.